Have you ever been somewhere special to you and you knew that it was the last time that you were going to be in that place? Maybe you were selling a house or moving away. Or have you ever been with someone that you knew you would not see alive again? At someone's deathbed in the hospital or at home, or even, though they look somewhat different, at a funeral home in their casket. Those times when we're saying goodbye and we know that we're saying goodbye, I find that they pull us to pay attention to details, to really think about who we're looking at and the place that we're leaving, and we try and drink in what the person's smile looked like, the wrinkles on their hands, the feel maybe of standing in a particular room, what the house smelled like. And when you're doing that, all the memories, right, are coming through. I grew up going to Girl Scout camp every summer for 10 years as a camper and then several more as a counselor. And while I was not at the camp for a final time, I don't remember the last time I was there. This past year, other women that grew up going to that camp, we became concerned because the Girl Scout Council had done a lot of deferred maintenance and hadn't really opened the camp up since COVID. So it started to feel like the council had kind of quietly decided to sell the camp, but not made that announcement. They also clear-cut a huge amount of acreage at the camp, which we also thought, this is not a good sign. And as I heard from these other people back home in Memphis and the meetings they were going to, the conversations they were having with the council leadership, I began to have dreams about my camp. And I would find myself in my dreams walking the camp and visiting places that had been so familiar to me. And there were details that I couldn't remember, or things that had changed since I had been there, and I couldn't picture parts of it. Those dreams were very real to me and distressing. One last time was what I wished for. Now, thankfully, the camp hasn't closed yet, but I had that feeling of, I wish I could just go there and drink it all in, all those details, those places, those pictures in my mind of, the dining hall and the lake and the cabins, all the different units, this little, well, it's not little, big mud pit they call the gullies, all the things. Maybe I'll get there once they open the camp again, and hopefully they will. But again, what happens when we know that it's the last time? What happens when we don't know it's the last time and we're left without those memories? We have today two scriptures. One, the Palm Sunday story, which may be very familiar to you, maybe not, that's okay. But the other maybe story that we don't hear about, the woman who washes Jesus' feet with her hair with this holy cannoli load of perfume that would have cost so much money. I wonder if she knew this was maybe her one and only time to be with Jesus in this way. And the palms, I wonder if Jesus knew that this was his last time entering Jerusalem. I don't think that his disciples really knew, although Jesus had told them what was to come. The disciples in Mark are famous for not knowing what's going on and not paying attention and not getting it, somewhat like us. But Jesus there rides on the donkey, and the people cry out, Hosanna, which means save us. And the woman anoints Jesus chapters later. a very expensive perfume of pure nard. It doesn't say this, it doesn't say why she's doing it, but it does remind me of families I've been with when they've been in hospital or the bedside of someone who's dying, and they're holding on to their hands for dear life because you want to remember, you want to bless that person, and you don't want to let go. This part that Jesus says about you always have the poor with you, I think I've found that a troubling verse. Maybe you have too, plenty of people have. And as I was thinking about it this week, there is truth to that. But I wonder too if there's something beautiful in this story about abundance and blessing one another while we can, about not having to do everything from pure practicality, but of seizing life and the moment, giving what we can while we can, holding on to those last moments, trying to find ourselves prepared. We can never prepare, but Jesus sees her as he has done with other women, other poor people in Mark, and proclaims the truth that she will be remembered. No act of love is ever wasted. That's one of my favorite phrases, something I have to remind myself of constantly. Her act of love is not wasted. The people in Jerusalem, their parade, their hosannas, not wasted. Even though the triumph turns to tragedy, the beauty of their cries and their offering their praise to God, it all matters. It matters to God, and it matters to us who enter into relationship with the God who loves us. Another pastor told another story of lasts, of having gone home to be at their grandfather's funeral, and they found themselves in their grandfather's house and not knowing if they'd ever be there again. So they ran their fingers over every surface and touched the walls, memorized the wallpaper, took their shoes off, dug their toes into the carpet, went to the bathroom and felt the blue shag carpet in there, smelled the smell of soap, moved through the whole house, room by room, savoring every single sense of it. They took their time because they knew that they'd never see or smell or feel or hear those particular things again. And life on the other side of that would be different. On Palm Sunday, we often get excited about waving the palms, but it's also the start of an important journey. And sometimes we miss the journey, and that's okay. You know, we have Palm Sunday, and then we have Easter, but there's a lot that happens in between. So this is an invitation to pour out your perfume, to cry Hosanna to God, to touch every surface and sink your toes into the carpet. You could take your palm home and use it as a tangible reminder. I love Palm Sunday because it's one of the only times of the year that we all have a worship prop, right? And having something in our hands, I think, really sort of changes how we relate to the story and relate to God. But maybe pick up your palm now if you'd like. What does it feel like in your fingers? How is the stem different from the leaves? Feel the texture. Wave it again. I like the way it sort of goes, you know, like one of those little like blow up dudes that does this, right? It has like a bend and a flexibility to it. Does it make a sound? Mine kind of does if you go fast. Notice now, too, how your feet are connected to your body in space. Feel your breath, your feet. We don't have blue shag carpet, thank God, but feel your feet and your toes, your blood moving through you, your lungs and heart working. Feel the air flowing through your body. You could touch the seat next to you or the person next to you if they're with you, not random people. Feel the wood maybe of the pew or the upholstery on the pews. This is just a bit of a reflection or an invitation to experience life as it feels this week. Maybe like the woman with the perfume and the people saying Hosanna and waving branches, we can bring that awareness of life and relish it to the rest of worship today, to the rest of this week of Holy Week. We're entering into a world that moves at a breakneck pace, and we never know when the last time will be the last time with anyone, anywhere. So take the chance this Holy Week. Look around, be in your body, offer yourself to God. Easter is coming, but we walk each day this week through Jesus and his disciples having their Last Supper, Jesus' arrest, Jesus praying in the garden, and of course, Jesus' death and crucifixion. We wait on Saturday, and then we experience Easter. Take the chance today and this week to center your soul for this time. Give extravagantly of your attention and your love. Look around this holy place and your holy life. Know that there is suffering and death and mourning, and there will be a new life. We can never prepare for all of those things, but what we can do is live and experience and rest in the God who welcomes our gifts, who calls this life good, who inhabits every moment and invites us to meet him there. Death will not have the last word, but sometimes we have to walk to it and through it. God is with us. Amen.